Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to be my look at this month in Dragalia Lost for the month of February 2021. In case you're not aware, this is where the game's director, Okada, talks to us about what's to come for the current month of Dragalia Lost and often teases things about the game's future as a whole. So in this video, we're basically going to read through the notice board post talking about what's coming up this month. I'll give my impressions, reactions, some predictions about what's to come for this month and in the future, and basically we'll call it a day. A couple other things I want to call attention to before going into this month in Dragalia Lost. We did get a generous gift of 1200 Wormite and 50 Exquisite Honey for all players. Lovely to see that to celebrate the collab. That is a free 10-fold summon right there. And of course it is the first of the new month, so the treasure trades have reset for void battles and for astral raids, so you can now collect some additional goodies from those. Alright, with that out of the way, let's open up this month in Dragalia Lost. So as always, the game's director, Okada, thanks us for playing Dragalia Lost. He never misses a beat on that, he's always pretty good about that. And another thing that he always tends to do here is summarize whatever is happening at the time already. So you can see this section about Caged Desire starts there, and it goes up until here, where we get to plans for this month. So quite a bit of this is spent recapping Caged Desire, but I will walk through some of it, even though we've already made a couple of Persona videos at this point, and y'all know I am enjoying the event. Alright, let's read through this. Caged Desire, a crossover event with the Persona series of games, is now live. The Phantom Thieves of Hearts have arrived in the world of Dragalia Lost, and one of them, Sophie, will join you for the duration of the event. If you'd like to recruit Sophie into your roster permanently, don't forget to add her to your team as you complete event quests to build friendship with her. Along the way, be sure to collect upgrade items called Sophie's Convictions from emblem rewards, Blazon summons, and endeavors. Play enough and you'll be able to earn the amount needed to completely unlock her mana circles. Alright, so I strongly recommend you do that. Sophie is a great character for the event, and in general, you really want to build raid characters during the event itself by getting those conviction items. Later on, instead of using convictions after the event ends, you'll have to use the real materials that it would have cost to upgrade that adventurer. Things like Champion's Testament, Eldwater, and other resources like Dragon Scales and Elemental Orbs, which you may not have a lot of, especially as a new player. So certainly, upgrade her using those convictions. She's totally free to max out if you go that route. And she's a pretty cool character from what I've played so far. Sophie has special abilities that activate in quests for this event. She'll prove invaluable by helping exploit the enemy's weaknesses in this event's raid battles and trial quests. Develop her as much as you can, and you're sure to see a return on your investment. So they show the raid off here with the weak status on the boss that is unique to this event. Of course, Sophie has the Bless persona element on her attacks, so that does make her well suited to the event. And if you're looking for even more action with the Phantom Thieves, the Adventurers Joker and Mona and the Dragon Arsene are featured in a summon showcase going on now. Okay, so we've already discussed the summon showcase, but now that I've seen some players get their hands on these characters, I do think Joker is all that he was thought to be. He seems to be a very strong and influential adventurer, so I do think he's the best thing on the showcase. As far as Mona I have seen a few clears with, but so far I still think of Mona more as a support via the co-ability of Wind Boost, since that is still unique to Mona. And as for Arsene, one thing I wanted to point out with Arsene, there were a lot of comparisons drawn to Cat Sith, and I think in my video I mainly compared Arsene to Shinobi, but I did name drop Cat Sith as well. And with Cat Sith, she also provides 180% skill damage, but she has some restrictions, like you have to be able to keep up a combo to use her. Well, the difference is that with Cat Sith, her skill damage is via a visible buff. It's via these paw print icons. And the way damage works in Dragalia Lost is passive abilities like those on Arsene are in a different bracket than visible buffs are, and visible buffs get multiplied by your passive abilities. So all this to say that Cat Sith's is actually a little bit better, a little bit stronger, has a higher ceiling for sure, because you're multiplying 1.8 times your passive skill damage for Cat Sith With Arsene, you're adding that to other skill damage sources you may have instead of multiplying. So if you have skill damage on your Wormprint, if it's in your adventure abilities, that all gets added to the 180% that Arsene provides. So yeah, basically Arsene can suffer from diminishing returns that Catsit doesn't have. She's multiplicative, so she has a higher ceiling for sure, but I think that Arsene's still an excellent dragon nevertheless. You don't have to worry about managing your combo time. He could be used on off-element characters and still provide a pretty nice benefit. So certainly still a good dragon, but something to point out that I saw a lot of commenters correctly pick up on. Okay, so Joker and Mona can each expend their persona gauge to call upon their very own persona, Arsene and Zora respectively, to fight at their side. Arsene also makes an appearance as a dragon who can be equipped by other adventurers. Adventurers other than Joker can shapeshift into Arsene by filling their dragon gauge as normal. We hope that fans of the Persona series will enjoy the marriage of the Phantom Thieves' trademark visual style with Dragalia Lost's unique action combat. I certainly have so far. Just seeing the Personas summoned to fight alongside different Persona characters looks really cool. I think that aesthetically, the familiar aspect of the Personas sort of appearing behind the character, they implemented it really well. It's always really striking to me when I'm playing with a Persona character and somebody else has them on their team and I get to see their Persona summoned up behind them, so I do like that a lot. Speaking of style, the adventurer Panther will appear in an upcoming Summon Showcase. Although she's technically a lance user in terms of Dragalia Lost weaponry, fans will no doubt recognize the whip that she uses to great effect when attacking, and the hail of machine gun bullets when she performs a force strike. Alright, so this is another thing that players pointed out in the comments on my banner analysis. I was wondering about Panther and why her SP costs were so high, and several of you said that in the trailer, if you look at her force strike, it's similar to a rapid fire style mana caster where you hold down the button and she just continuously sprays bullets at the enemy and builds up SP or skill energy over time by doing that. Since that's the case, that does sort of change things about her. I still don't know that she's really super necessary. I would take the first banner all day, but that does make her a lot better, and I do think that she'll be pretty solid after hearing about that. Also, the fact that they acknowledged the whip here, she'll probably have some different basic combos as well, but I haven't actually seen those yet. Just like fellow Phantom Thieves Joker and Mona, she can expend her persona gauge to call upon her very own persona, Carmen, to fight at her side. For further details, including her stats, check out the Summon Showcase notification once it's posted. The Gauge Desire event includes many ways for players to earn items that power up their team. You can earn insignias used to craft weapons and upgrade facilities, and from boss battles and raid events, you can get orbs and scales used to unbind adventurers' mana circles. What's more, Champion's Testaments used to unbind mana circles and Damascus Ingots used to unbind 5-star weapons are available from the treasure trade. Yeah, so just the presence of a treasure trade in a raid event amplifies the rewards significantly, and this is a good treasure trade with lots of good stuff to get. I also like that this is a rainbow event because if you're a brand new player and you're in doubt about what to do, you can just really sink a lot of your time into the raid event after you've done most of the campaign stuff. Go to the raid event, and just by doing raid battles over and over, you're getting materials that are going to be of use to you in some way, and cover all the elements as well. So I think that this was a really nice touch. It's less of a sense of direction, but you could basically, pick the 5-star characters you got, or pick the Persona characters you got, throw them on a team together with Sophie, and that will still be a pretty good team for this event. In other cases, when there's a specific element focus for an event, you're going to want to build up the counter element for that content, but in this case you can kind of just go wild and pick your favorite characters, whoever you got, and try them out. So I think it's pretty fun. If you're a beginner player, let me know what you think about it so far. And what would an event be without some exclusive rewards? Players can earn some event exclusive Wormprints, weapon skins, and stickers. Really liking these. The weapon skins for the mana casters in particular I like, because a lot of the mana casters that exist so far are really clunky and huge, so some of them are more small and subtle. Also the dagger, sword, they're just sort of like plain weapons. A lot of things in Dragalia Lost are really ornate, so it's nice to have something kind of simple in contrast. And these Wormprints, pretty solid, good artwork. Obviously the stickers are really cool. I just think that they had a really robust package of things for the collab, and I like that about it. The fun even extends to the Alberian Battle Royale as well. There, every adventurer will be able to shapeshift into Arsene, and a mode-specific skill will become available if Joker is set as your adventurer skin. The Cage Desire event ends on February 11th. I wish you the best of luck in bringing Emil back from the brink with a flair and style that only the Phantom Thieves can pull off. So yeah, looking forward to playing the rest of the event. As for the Battle Royale, they also added Gala Elisand's axe into it as a weapon skin. And I didn't get to check it out yesterday. It was around for one day only on Sunday, but I'll probably check it out in the middle of this week so I can actually play as Arsene and see what that feels like. Maybe if I'm lucky by then, I'll have summoned Joker and actually unlocked him in that mode as well, because that would be pretty sweet, but maybe not, so we'll see. Plans for this month. Here we go into what's ahead, and you can already see what's going on here, but let's read it anyway. A Valentine's-themed Onslaught event will be held in mid-February. Who better to celebrate this day of romance than Luca's longtime admirer, Chelsea? I hope you're looking forward to a new version of this lass, longing for love, and another episode in her seemingly never-ending saga to capture Luca's heart. Wow. What a perfect character for the Valentine's Day event, and I think she's popular enough that they could bring her into this and players are going to want to summon for her. If you're not aware, Chelsea's kind of got Yandere archetype, so there's almost like a fatal element to her attraction to Luca. I don't really know what to say on that. Like, I don't consider myself an expert on love, but, you know, this level of obsession seems maybe a little different than love. Maybe this is infatuation. But yeah, Chelsea is a popular one. She's a flame bow, so we'll see what they do with her ult. Can't really tell or make out what type of weapon she has, but certainly could see her wielding a dagger or something like that to good effect. And as far as the Onslaught event goes, that seems to be what they're doing this year. You know, the second year of Dragalia Lost, we really got reruns of old holiday events for the most part, and we got some refreshes on the summon showcases with new characters, but it was the same events getting played again. And I always had a question about that, like, why didn't we get a second Dragon Yule event to go along with our first? It might have been just for production reasons, but after that first year, now we're actually starting to get some new events. So for Halloween, we got, I want to say, I can't remember if it was Defensive Battles or Onslaught. I think it was Onslaught. But we got a new event with Melsa and Akasha. Then for Christmas or Dragon Yule, we got an event with Victor and Lily. And now for Valentine's Day, we're going to have this event with Chelsea and hopefully Luca as well, or maybe some other character. I'd be surprised if she's the only one featured here, but I don't know who else is vying for Luca's heart. But I can think of other characters that are, you know, Luca specific. Oh my gosh. What if they do Valentine's Mascula? That would be a popular character too, for sure. Man, that would be sweet to see. I wish Mascula could play a role, because Mascula and Laxi, as android characters, they already have some soul searching to do as far as like what's in their heart, you know? Like that could be a story into itself of like not understanding love or something as androids and trying to learn to feel that emotional connection, or maybe Laxi doesn't understand it, but Mascula kind of does because of his special heart. That would actually fit in a really cool way. I kind of hope that happens now, and Mascula fans could finally be vindicated that he exists. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Like, I just like that they're bringing back holiday events. They're not the big blowout events that happen at the end of the month, you know, high production value, because these Onslaught and defensive events, Coliseum events, they're more budget. We have to acknowledge that. But just the fact that they exist, in contrast to past years where it was like, it's the same Valentine's event, new characters to summon, but they're not relevant to the story in any way, or really. I think this is pretty cool. And I guess Valentine's is a bad example in that case, because they actually did do some special chapters with Addis and Melody last year. But another thing to point out about Valentine's is just, what are they going to do with the Summon Showcase? You know, the first year OG Valentine's characters got added to the permanent summoning pool eventually, but the second year Valentine's characters from the Dulcet Delight Showcase, Melody and Addis, they're still limited characters that you can't get most of the time. So I'm not sure if they're going to add those into the permanent pool as a peace offering for having new Valentine's Day characters. I don't know if this Chelsea is going to be permanent or limited. It would be weird to have your two characters limited, your one character is permanent, and then year 3 becomes permanent, so somehow only year 2 is limited. So to me, I feel like Chelsea's probably going to be limited as well. And maybe this year they'll eventually make Addis and Melody permanent. But we're still in seasonal season, so yeah, if you're a Chelsea fan, I feel for you. I never have gotten Chelsea myself, so I'm not as attached to her, but I know a lot of players out there really like this character, and I hope you're able to summon her. Okay, so let's move on to the Waltz with Fate raid event will make a return in mid-February. You'll have a chance to add the adventurer Felicia to your team if you haven't already. Awesome to see this event come back. This event is, I think it's not technically the oldest event to have never been rerun, but it's effectively that, because the oldest event to never have been rerun is the circus event, but that got added to the compendium directly. So even though it was never rerun, it's available to play right now in the compendium, Annalise and Fritz's event. This event has never come back ever. It's not in the compendium, and right now Felicia is the oldest character that you might not have, for lack of a better way of saying it. So like, she was limited to that raid, and that raid is the raid that's not run at all since it came out in 2019. So I'm glad to see this come back. This was actually a pretty good raid event. It's kind of a weird story between Phantom and Felicia, you know, Dragon Sylvan relationship. It's kind of a weird story, but it's a pretty good event. It's fitting for the month of February, I feel like. And the one thing I'm surprised about here is no mention of Lunar New Year. I would have thought that maybe we would follow up on Persona with some type of Lunar New Year event, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So maybe we'll have a login bonus or some type of special worm print like they gave out last year. They gave out one with Mim. So maybe they'll do something like that just as a way to celebrate, or some double drops or something. But this is an event that I'm happy to see come back. Felicia's still the only character, I believe, that can cleanse poison. She does it on her second skill. She's not a particularly good character though, but it is a pretty fun event, so it'll be nice to revisit it. It's been the longest of anything that we've revisited for sure. Starting with part 1 of chapter 18, one half of each main campaign chapter will be added each month. The first half, part 1 of chapter 18, will be added in late February. Our heroes have their sights set on the Fairy Kingdom, but will they be able to navigate the Forest of the Fairies? Alright, so this seems to be the new method they're using instead of chapter interludes. Hopefully whatever we get is a robust offering, and I just dread that it's going to end on a cliffhanger every time with the part 1 and part 2. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that keeps people coming back, but like, I want to know what happens. So I really hope there's some significant developments, and it's not just like all setup, but it is what it is. It's going to be like Reborn, Gala, Jeanne d'Arc or something, and Luca and Kayan. I don't know how they're going to fit Kayan into the Fairy Kingdom or how he's going to come into the plot, but he exists to challenge Luca. And last few chapters, we've had like Ciela challenging Elisan and Volk challenging Bronzel, and it's a way of maturing their ideology and worldview and kind of realizing there's some validity to what the Agito are saying, but also forging their own path as a rebuttal to what the Agito are saying, because there's some craziness to it as well. So I expect some nice developments here with Luca and Kayan. He seems to be slated for an appearance in this chapter based on the preview that was posted, so I'm looking forward to that. Mostly from the Kayan side though, because he's a character we don't know that much about, I feel like. And speaking of Kayan, a time attack ratings event will be held in late February. This time you'll face Lightatune foes. So obviously they're talking about Kai here, but also other Lightatune foes. With the wind-themed time attack, we did have other battles besides Volk, but it culminated in Volk, and the ones that you would want to play repeatedly for the ranking-based rewards were all related to Volk. Now, I like how they did time attack last time, and this seems like a good way to intersperse some fun endgame activity between legend drops. So we got a drop of Kaiyan Legend last month, just last week at this point when I'm recording, and that was pretty fun, gave new players something to do. And similarly, in November, we got the Legend Volk release. I want to say it was November, could have been October actually, can't remember. But we got Legend Volk, and then that December we got Time Attack as a way of just testing your total mastery of Volk and everything related to it. Now, similarly, after we've gotten Legend Kai, we get this Time Attack focused on that element. This is a pretty good way, since Legend content doesn't drop every month, to just give everybody something to do. And the Time Attack was implemented in a way where the ranking-based component was all about epithets and bragging rights, and the personal component gave you the actual good rewards. So beating your own best time and getting below certain, I believe they were called class ranks or classes, getting those milestones like clearing something in a minute or less, you just had to compete with the battle. You didn't have to compete with others, and I think that was one of the frustrating things the first time Time Attack came around all those years ago in 2019 for the first anniversary. It was very competitive, which Dragalia Lost really isn't that competitive, and so I really like how they did this in December. I'm looking forward to this, and it's honestly really cool to see the community kind of rally and also come up with very creative strategies for how to clear these fast. Now, in Kaiyan's case, having a lot of Cat Sith and just exploding a lot of skill prep, skill damage might be the way to go, but who knows? I'm really not sure what this Time Attack challenge will be like without thinking about it too much. Like, I'm gonna give it a shot and just see what happens and start to see what strategies materialize. I can't say I'm particularly adept at thinking about how to do these clears fast, but I always find it kind of mind-blowing to actually read through what did get the top clears. So this is something I'm looking forward to. I'm glad this exists because there is an audience for this in Dragalia Lost, I think. And one other thing I haven't said about Kaiyan, but like Legend difficulty, I still have to do co-op, but as far as solo, that section of the fight when he goes berserk and just says eliminate, 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 that is really cool. Kaiyan has definitely grown on me as a boss. Alright, so a new facility event will be held in late February, following the events of the story that was released last September. The plot will center around apostles of North Grastia's Ilian Church. Here's a sneak peek at one of the apostles who will also appear as an adventurer, a young man named Ferris. Okay, Ferris looks great. Got some, Xion vibes here. Xion is Delphi's little brother. Kind of looks similar with the hair and just this lithe kind of build, but obviously he has a dagger and a mana caster. He just looks like a cool character. I think that he's going to be really appealing. I still like Nevin. He's one of my favorite designs ever as far as just coolness factor. Papa Bear from the Agents of the Goddess event last year that also centered around apostles. A lot of people love Pinon. Pinon obviously great design too, but there's obviously something afoot here. And we know from the campaign, Nevin made an appearance in the interlude. We know that something's up with one of the apostles called Basilius, based on the end of Agents of the Goddess, and now we get another apostle called Ferris. All of this makes me think that for future updates, including this rise of the Sinister Dominion, there is going to be some element of religion or the Ilian Church. We also know that Mordecai and Ilia are afoot. So yeah, I think that that's going to be the next arc as far as Dragalia goes. Something related to the Ilian Church and maybe the Northern Branch and the Apostles and their dragons. But we'll talk about the Rise of the Sinister Dominion in a second. The facility event is great. It feels like it's been a while. We had 2 raid events in a row at the end of the month with the New Year's event, and now with this Persona event. So I'm kind of glad we're getting a facility event. They're very low-key, mostly solo play, but they're kind of nice to just chill out to for a little bit. Dragalia's had its foot on the gas. Since the beginning of the new year, we had all those half stamina, double drop battles for endgame content, then we had Merciati Reckoning. Like, there's been a lot of things to do, And I feel like Facility Event is when I can finally catch my breath a little bit in Dragalia Lost and just relax and kind of coast, so I'm looking forward to that personally. Okay, so now Rise of the Sinister Dominion for future updates. The first in a new series of quests to follow the Agito Uprising pits you against powerful bosses and arrives in early March. With the addition of this quest, the number of Wormprint slots available to weapons will be increased, and players will be able to earn Wormprints that can only be equipped to those specific slots. Further details on the system will be provided next month. Okay, so Rise of the Sinister Dominion, that's quite a name. And then we have Lilith's Encroaching Shadow as apparently the first boss here. So y'all are gonna know more about this than me if you are a Cygames fan, but doesn't the name Lilith mean something? Like, I feel like this is an important name in the world of Cygames. Please let me know what you think about that in the comments if you are familiar with this, because I'm not too familiar with it. But like, are we gonna fight Bahamut? Are we gonna fight... Who else are we gonna battle in this series? Are these like demons or something? I'm wondering about this. In Dragalia terms, they'll probably just be dragons, and this character here has the horns appropriate of a dragon, and that's really all I can say about them. I don't know too much about the lore here, the lore implications. I think it's something angelic, or maybe like angels and demons, because if they don't want to turn Ramiel into a villain, then maybe the archangels are good and they're fighting against a legion of, I mean, satanic characters almost, or like Luciferian characters that are fallen angels or something. That might be kind of neat. I'm looking forward to this. As far as the Wormprint slots go, thank goodness it's not another weapon, because the weapon creep and just grinding up subsequent weapons, getting all these weapon bonuses, it takes so long, and I feel like I'm finally at a point where I've caught up on my weapon collection. Please do not give us more weapons from this content, and I'll be happy. The Wormprint slot thing is something I think I talked about around the 2nd anniversary when we first got the 5 Wormprint system. It was just a passing comment, but I said that it does look kind of weird that you can only equip up to 5 Wormprints, because when you look at your team page, there's a missing slot. Like, 5 is an odd number, and the 5th Wormprint is shown on the left side, and on the right side there's a slot where another Wormprint could go. So it makes total sense to me that you could have an extra Wormprint, but the way I think that they're going to restrict this is that since it says you can only equip certain Wormprints to those slots, I think the Wormprints you earn from this are going to be 6-star Wormprints, and that will be a 6-star only Wormprint slot. And I don't really like 6-star things existing. I feel like 5 is a nice aesthetic number. Why do we need 6 stars? Like, you hardly use 1 and 2 stars anyway. But such is the nature of gacha. More stars, more power, etc. So I'm fine if it exists. If it's farmable from this mode, that's good. And I'm just glad it's not more weapons. I was kind of hoping it would be characters, but I'm just glad it's not more weapons. So I am looking forward to checking that out. In the next version update, players will be able to copy their team setups to and from different slots in the team's menu. You can also register an individual adventure's weapon, dragon, and Wormprints to the adventures themselves instead of a particular team setup. With new varieties of quests being added over time, we hope that this feature will help players more quickly and easily manage their best teams from their roster. Alright, so the copy and paste is nice. That used to be available through a bug that got taken out or fixed. As far as registering individual sets, I like the idea in principle. I like all of the quality of life features that have come about for organization, but honestly, I'm just so used to it being how it is right now that I haven't actually taken the time to go in and reorganize everything. So I can't really imagine myself going through all my adventures and setting up a particular thing for them. I just don't think I play enough for it to be worth it, and I play a lot, so yeah, I should be organized like this, but I'm just not. I always end up just taking out a team I have and just emptying it out, putting on new characters every time. I really have to get better at that though, so these types of quality of life features are always good to see. And then, the second quality of life feature here, in addition, a button that allows players to permit adventurers to shapeshift into their equipped dragon automatically during autoplay will be added. This setting also works with the auto-repeat feature, so you may find that the extra boost from shapeshifting has opened up some quests that you weren't able to auto-repeat before. Really happy to see this because for content like Tartarus's Wrath specifically, you can't break out of certain cages unless you shapeshift. So any fight like that one where it revolves around shapeshifting, it doesn't lend itself as well to auto battle. With Tartarus specifically, there are some other hindrances that make it hard, like Fury of the Fallen reducing your damage, that makes auto battling difficult, and some characters like Tiki with her Divine Dragon form do have advantages against that because they gain immunity to that, so that makes them quite nice for that battle. But nevertheless, I think this will still open up more adventurers to take this on. A character like Gala Yuden suddenly looks a lot better in my opinion, even for auto comps, because he does have that low HP dragon that he gets, and then he could immediately shapeshift into it if this is turned on, which could potentially save him. So I really like this addition. I think this is going to make other types of auto comps for other content also easier. Master difficulty content, if you're using real dragons and not just the gold Fafnirs, probably going to be easier. I think on net, having a time when your AI randomly becomes a dragon is going to help you. It's going to reduce the damage your lead takes. They're going to deal some damage to the boss that's probably significant. Dragons like Mars are going to charge up the skills of your characters. So this opens up a lot of doors in my view, and I think this is really cool. And finally, in conclusion, we on the Dragalia Lost team hope that you enjoy all of the new and upcoming content that I've shared, starting of course with the Cage Desire event going on now. And finally, we're giving all players the following items this month. 200,000 Eld Water, that is great, and then 300 Consecrated Water. 200,000 Eld Water can go a long way toward getting Worm Prints or promoting and powering up your adventurers. Alright, and I think that is going to do it for today, everyone. So I hope you've enjoyed this look at this month in Dragalia Lost for the month of February 2021. Let me know what you're most excited about in the comments below. Thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.